Look who's back with another video this week, and this time also no technical issues. Andy Gorman, one of my lovely followers here on YouTube, asked me how I handle drawing classical but then more curvy cars, such as the Jaguar or the Ferrari 330. And I thought, yeah, I never drew either of those cars and curves are not so easy for me, so why not share what my process is when looking at these cars, learning the shapes of new cars, and then just doing quick sketches. And here we have the Ferrari 330 P4, and I'm going to, so what I want to do is understand the car first. For that, I'm going to look if it has a side view. Optimally, I would draw from life, but since I can't do that at the moment, this should suffice as well. Let's use this picture. There we go. This should be in the frame, right? So what I want to do is measure the wheels and see how many times it fits. It doesn't have to be wheels, and you will see when we do a 3/4 view that the wheels actually are, for me at least, not that useful for measuring. So most of you probably saw this guy before. So what is that person doing? You're basically using a device to try to measure something. You look to the far and you say, okay, I'm going to take the size of this cap and how many times does that cap fit into whatever I want to draw. Or not necessarily a cap, that's why you have the finger there. Let me turn this around. So you can move with your finger. You can also capture the size of the building. Let's say if on the horizon the building is this long, how many times does that fit into something? That's also the technique I use to draw my cars. This red one, as you can see, it's exactly the size of the wheel. So it fits in once, twice, and in between the two we have 1, it's around the 7, 2, and 3 times. So we have 3 wheels in between. This is slightly bigger wheel, and then we have a smaller wheel. So just do this, you have 1, 2, 3 is 5, and basically this could be 6, 7 wheels long. All right. So I'm going to draw the car a little bit smaller here. I don't need to draw it that big. And I'm going to just draw 1 wheel here. This is my wheel. I'm going to measure it. Well, actually, I can just draw it that many times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, this is our actual wheel, and this was the bigger wheel in the back, right? I'm going to connect it here. I'm going to connect it a little bit higher. I'm going to connect it there. Okay, so now let's see how many times this wheel fits in the height of the car. So I'm going from the line where it touches the ground. It's 1. From here almost 2. As you can see, I would say maybe 3/4. 1 3/4. So I'm just going to draw another one there, and it goes a little bit below that. All right. And now I'm just trying to see what the measurements and what the distances are. As you can see, this line is almost on the line of the wheel. So it will be continuing here. So I'll just lay it down here so I know where it is. And this should be a nice line like that. Then I follow the line of the windshield, which basically touches here in the front, as you can see, here and here. So this is the line that I'm following. So we go going through the wheel, basically touching there at that point. So here at this point, it's going to do this, and it ends somewhere there. This is not going to be a nice drawing. It's not about that. Let's see. So this, if I bring it down here, yeah, it's exactly 1 wheel distance from the back wheel. So I would put it somewhere here. It's not exactly 1 wheel, but my wheels are a little bit different sized. There. This one is here. So here there should be a window that's not in there. I think that's changed throughout the days. But this one is definitely higher than the one in the back, also because the wheel is higher there. So let me not forget about adding this as well, and then here as well. So this is all about understanding the proportions a little bit. And obviously, if you want to draw this car well, you would need it to draw it many more times. So this is at halfway. And this, I already feel it, like this area is too small. I should have made it a bit bigger. But to compensate, I'm just going to make this smaller. But because of that, all the proportions are going to be a little bit messed up. Not a problem, because I'm still just learning. Ah, wrong wheel. As you can see, I should have come from here. Yeah. This is where it has to end. And here it comes around. So this would be the inside area. All right, so it comes like that. All right, now I drew it once. Now I have to keep on doing that again and again. I step away a little bit from my measurements. I put on one wheel, 2, 3, 4, and this is the back wheel, a bit bigger. Then we are relatively close to the ground. Here a bit less. Now for the front, goes like that. Ah, that was the problem, I see now. This has to go a little bit higher. But we have this, all right, comes like that. Let me quickly do this again. And this is all about doing a couple of sketches, what I like to do, before actually drawing the car. This is already better, as you can see. Obviously, still not where I would like it to be, but already much better. Let me do a quick third one as well. All right, so keep in mind, I drew this car 3 times and I never drew it before. I'm trying to keep the proportions, moving it around a little bit. Like we can see how messed up it is there. This is already better, but I messed it up here a little bit. Yeah, I'm starting to get a feel for it. Now, I am going to switch to a non-side view. There we go. Okay, let's draw this car. So what I'm going to do is obviously put it into 3D. So I'm going to try to find the angle that it sits on the ground, somewhere here. Then I look at the axis of the wheel. Seems to be that. I hope so. Now I'm going to construct sort of the base of it. Like this is, imagine this as the shadow that it's throwing. So this would be the shadow. And now I'm just going to make a box out of it, extrude it in 3D. If you want to call it that. Next step. Now comes the part where I don't use the measurement of the wheels, because when we're in perspective, the wheels get much smaller. So let's see. If this wheel, see the size sort of fits with this top here, here it's already much smaller. So using the wheel in 3D is a little bit weird. What I use instead is this distance, as you can, am I on the paper? Yeah. So this distance, I just take this distance, and not basically not like this, but like this. So I drew it incorrectly. I take this distance and then I measure it out a couple of times. So let me show you how you do it. That distance for me would be, this is this line here would go up here, right? So I'm going from here to here. Let's say where this 4 ends. That's my distance. And that fits in once. It fits in twice. The 4 is here, exactly at the middle of this wheel. Fits in 3 times at the middle of 3, and fits in exactly 4 times. This is how I go usually. So I know this distance, which is here, has to fit in twice, 3, and it doesn't even fit on my paper. So my solution is to make it a little bit narrower, right? Like this. So then I'm going to take this distance, fits in once, twice, and 3 times. So I have to maybe bring it a little bit higher here as well, just like that. Once again, I didn't take this, I took this distance from here to here. So let me take red, and I'm talking about this distance here. This is 1. And then I would say this is 2, this is 3, and that is 4, right? And I'll take the same distance that we talked about here. It goes until, I have to zoom in again, I feel like. It goes until 4, right? Exactly, it was something like this, and until 4, yeah. Now, I want to see how many times it fits into the height. So I go from here. So I know that this will be this top of the fender, well, not fender, this wheelhouse, I think it's called. That goes there. So the top of the wheelhouse will be at 4, and I'll just keep on bringing the 4 along here, and I keep on, it's never going to be higher than that one distance. So that's good to know. And from here on, yeah, you can start measuring again. So 4 is until here. This is where the lamp is going to be. So from here it's going to be a little bit tricky again. Another 4 is exactly the middle. So this will be the middle of the wheel. Let's see how much the wheel is. The wheel is actually half of it. So let's say this to here, like this is sort of the wheel. And it has to be in perspective, obviously. So something like that, I hope. Yes. And then this is here, we said it goes up until, so this point is, right, this distance, 4 to that. So this is the top. This is going to be the top of that wheelhouse. So I can easily, from here, goes to that top, and then it goes down again a little bit. And then, because now I just have to follow the perspective lines, I know that this is where the other lamp start or headlight starts, and this is where it ends. And then the shape of it is a little bit like that. And obviously this is not because I want to do details, because I can use the where it starts and ends, the shapes of the headlight, to start marking it as points for myself. So here we have sort of almost like a straight line going up there. And then here we have this shape. Now, we have this coming here as well. And here it goes down onto the wheel. So like when it's here, it's already down. So I have to turn it down there. So it means this should turn down a little bit faster as well. Don't go to sleep just yet. Okay, so here, don't forget to lift it a little bit. Then the wheelhouse has to be wrapping nicely around the wheel. Coming this way. Now, here the wheel is almost at the end. This is our end, so let's not confuse the two. Let me come in with the blue and just make sure that I remember that these are my markers. This is how far I have to go. Okay, so now the wheel is obviously going to be quite a bit smaller. Somewhere there, yeah. I made it a bit narrower, so I took away from it. Now comes the tricky part, because we're in 3D. So what I can do is I'm going to switch to my blue just for a second and create this surface here, this plane. This is basically, this plane is this here. So where my greenhouse starts. This is that plane. I'm drawing that here, okay? Let me come so you can have everything in sight again. And from this plane on, we sort of have a cube here. And obviously I'm doing all of this in my head because I know that this cube will be nice and round here. I need a starting point for my rounding here, which is sort of, that seems correct. And I am going to put so the wheel, the greenhouse is here and here. I'm going to, what you could do is also create a quick box for the wheelhouse as well out of this plane, if it helps. It seems that it is actually helping me because I needed to divide, to find a center line. And then I know that on center line, basically what I'm doing here now is I'm putting this into this box, right? And I'm going to try to find this line, this outline, where it does this basically, right? That is my, it goes a little bit more like this. So let me bring this back. I hope the blue, yeah, the blue is visible. Yeah. Okay, so center line wise, just looking at this again, I see, I project this, it's somewhere here and here where it should be. And then I can bring these along here. So center line there and here. And then from there it goes down. And now I just draw this nice rounded shape. And I think it needs to come a little bit more back, maybe, I feel like. Yeah, just a bit. Okay, but now I can do most of this also with my black lines. And then this would be the spoiler back there. All right, and then I make sure to add in some section lines. One thing I forgot here is we have this offshoot which follows the center line. It has the thing in it. There we go. Obviously, you should be, oh, I messed it up a little bit, no problem. You should be drawing this with either a marker, as in a low opacity marker, like a C1, C2, when you're setting this up. There we go. What else am I missing? This follows there. Now I can also, don't forget the center line should come all the way to the front. And I think here, see, I don't know something. I'm not clear about this here. So I'm going to go back here and actually I think there's a top view. Let me see if I'm correct. There we go. So there's an indent here. Let me see if I can go back to different angles, if we can catch that. You can see there's that indent. So I'm going to use that. Let's keep this here. So the indent would be somewhere here, if I see that correctly. And then we just run up there, add a little bit of shading. This is the center line. It's okay to put that down. We have the seating, and then this is the center line. air intake. Let me black this in also, but you're more interested in this now. From here on, this is mostly straight. Make sure to adjust the air intake, well, not the air intake, adjust the center line there a little bit. And obviously you would have to repeat this drawing as well over and over, just like I did with the side view, to understand the volumes. And don't be afraid to use those section lines and projection lines to understand also the 3D shapes. Anyways, this is it for this video. I also did a second drawing, which I might post next week if you guys like this sort of thing. But that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something from it. Feel free to subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more content like this. And you can also follow me on Instagram if you want to see more sketching and drawing related uploads. But the most important thing is that you guys have a great week and see you folks next time. Bye bye.